Hey everybody, so this is an explanation of the experimental design procedure. I like to call this DSquare, your experimenter procedure. And I know that it used to be called squared. Make sure that your procedure is squared away. But I really like the DSquare because then the D is actually out front. For the diagram with labels, we're looking for a diagram that shows just the basic equipment that you need. For example, if you want to measure the time it takes for an object to slide down an incline, you would just need the incline, the object that's sliding, and then we always want to make sure that we have whatever devices we're using to measure. So if we're going to use a meter stick, we want to draw it and then make sure that we label that. And we also want to make sure that we have a stopwatch. They can put a cell phone as long as they say stopwatch app or something similar to that. The next three steps are done together, and that is the setup, the quantities, and the apparatus. The setup really just tells the reader exactly what's happening or anything that's not going to be in the picture. We know that the picture says 1,000 words. However, we still need to explain kind of what's going on. So we might say something similar to the block is released from rest and it slides down the incline. As it slides down the incline, we time how long it takes for it to go from point A to point B. And that might be something good to measure too. We need to tell what quantities are going to be directly measured. So both your independent and your dependent variable at least. And for this one, it would be the time it takes for it to traverse the incline. And then it might be maybe the length of the incline. It might be the height of the incline. Just all kinds of different things, but they want to make sure that they're clear about that. And then finally, after they say, I'm going to measure the time that it takes for the object to move down the incline, I'm going to use a stopwatch, and then I'm going to measure the distance that the block travels down the incline using a meter stick. They can put those things first. So here it might say I'm going to use a meter stick to measure the height of the top of the ramp. Use a stopwatch to measure the time it takes for the block to go from the top down to the bottom. So it's really super important that they do those things. Then R stands for the repeated independent variable. What is it that you are going to do several trials on? And the reason we do trials is because that's the best way to do error reduction. So let's go back up to repeated independent variable. We're here just looking at how those trials were repeated and telling what quantity and how that quantity will change. So, and also talking about what might not change. So we could say for 5 trials, increase the height of the top of the ramp on each trial, but keep the length of the ramp the same. And then we would say for each of those 5 trials, you're going to record the dependent variable, which is going to be how long it takes for that to go down the incline. Error reduction, never say reduce human error. At one point, I had mistakenly thought maybe we could say use the same person to take measurements. That's really not what the College Board is looking for. They're looking for something in terms of systematic error where you're going through and thinking about trying to average things and get rid of some of those errors that come from just mismeasurement and things like that. So that's the best way to do it. Really just say do 3 trials for each run and average those trials. And that way you are set. And that is the experimental design procedure acronym DSquare.